you're not pushing the car, you're driving the car. Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's episode 135 of the podcast. Really long one. We're drinking Chuhai tonight. It's probably not gonna happen again. But no, we got into several different topics. Of course, Deciphering Japan episode 2. Some nightlife breakdowns of things, economics, of course, society. Follow a pretty good follow-up for some questions from Joshua. I tried to expand on job hunting in Japan as well. So just a mixed bag of stuff, as you know how I do. There's really some weird crazy stories mixed in between. So I think you'll like it, and go ahead, enjoy. Oh, wait. Before you do that, I gotta tell you, I almost forgot. Please like, please follow, please share, comment. Thank you again for the people who are liking and following, and shame on you if you don't. Nah, I'm just happy that you're here along for the ride with me. But if you can hit the like button, it would kind of help too. Just saying. All right, y'all, enjoy. Yo, hey, what's going on, everyone? YouTube people, what's up? You just saw me crack open this thing. Put a little bit in it. I'm drinking something. I'm drinking something different tonight. My wife was like, "You drinking Chuhai? Really? I don't see you drink Chuhai." Well, that's why I'm drinking it. It's different. This is a Chuhai. If you've never seen it, this is a strong one. You can read. It's a big 9 on it. It's a 9% one. I got like this small 9% one, and I got another one in the fridge. This is some. Fuck. That was not. It's been a while since I drank this shit, and the strong ones I don't really drink unless this is not. I made a mistake drinking a strong one, making it my first one. Just because, when you fucked up, you don't really taste the alcohol so much. So but as my first drink, this is not the best move, but I prefer to drink the strong one first, and then the weak one, because I'm not partying. We're not raging tonight. We're not going off. So I was like, fuck it. Let me just start with this one. But okay. Anyway, got a lot to get to tonight. You're in for a good action-packed episode. Hold on, let me get myself situated. YouTube people, sorry you watching the top of my head. I shaved just for y'all, just so y'all can, I won't see my, chrome dome, my hair that's not there on top. Nah, but so we got some good stuff. We got some Joshua. We got a response from Joshua. Rod, as usual, in the house. We've got the episode 2 review of Deciphering Japan, which I want to get to, and a few other things. Just stumbling down the rabbit hole of some things related to some shit we got in. Don't forget, please remember, like, comment, share too. You can share it, all that. I'm probably gonna remember. Hopefully, I'll remember to say that in the introduction as well. But remember, I gotta keep saying it. Gotta keep mentioning it. Let me just get into everything, just because we've got a lot going on tonight, and it's already kind of late. So I was watching this documentary before. So all right. So Joshua, let me start with Joshua. As you know, on the previous episode, if you listen to the previous episode, this shit's all small. This font's all small. How do I make this bigger? Hold on. Let me try to make this font bigger, just so that it's easier for me to see. Yeah, okay. Excuse me. Okay, that's just. I can see it, but I'm just not trying to strain. All right. All right, so here we go. So, as you know, Joshua in the previous episode, asked some questions about coming to Japan for work. We've been going back and forth via email quite a bit, and he sent me a follow-up with a lot of good information. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out for typing the email, Joshua. I told you I respond on the episode, just because, you know, some of the questions and follow-up information that he asked, I think will be interesting or relevant to you guys. So my notes, I just took some notes based on what you're saying. I'm just looking at my bullet point notes, and it's just funny. The first thing Joshua asked me was about just confirming, was about certifications, and, you know, if you need certifications for coming to Japan, like I forgot some certifications, like TOEFL, TOESL, all the acronym type joints. He told me how much they cost. Like, I didn't know, like, you know, it costs like a few $1,000s to get them shits. And my bullet point answer is, fuck them certifications. Fuck those certifications. You do not need that shit. You damn sure do not need to spend that amount of money for that shit. Because from what I've heard and what I've seen in interviews, people, like group interviews, people are like, well, I've got this certification. And they're like, yeah, that's nice and all that, you know. And even if it is, like I mentioned before, for Eikaiwa, they have their system. They want you to teach a certain way. They, you know, it's like McDonald's, again, they don't want you coming in with your fancy burger recipes, like, I've learned this and this. Like, nah, they just want you to be able to absorb and put out their style of teaching that they want you to do. Same thing, I would guess, for ALT is the exact same thing. Actually, the more creative and more fancy and more you try to appeal your teaching skills, it's actually a negative against you. Because, you know, it's like, again, like, imagine, like, hey, I'm a 5-star Michelin chef trying to apply for Burger King. They're gonna be like, I know how to make, you know, this truffle, you know, flambe sauce and all this shit. And they're like, we just need you to put the burger in the microwave and put some pickles on it. Like, you know, like, I'm not downplaying how nuanced, you know, ALT or Eikaiwa is, because there's a lot more to it than that. But the point is, like, to get you through the door, you know, to get you into the classroom, they just need you to learn this kind of set of skills, nothing more, you know. So the more shit you have on top of that, the more, like, resistance it's going to be. So it's actually not a positive thing. So just fuck them certifications. Don't even worry about it. Again, my advice, if you're still unsure about it, you know, would be just list a few different schools and see what they read, and see what you know, just do some reconnaissance on them. You might even want to just reach out to them via email too. It would be another possibility. And just, I would just mention that, you know, mention the fact that, you know, you're still in school, you're not graduating yet, but for possibly next year, you had these, or applying possibly next year, you had these type of questions. Like, that would just be the easy way, just to crush any fears you got. Just the top 5 schools that might possibly be able to sponsor your visa. Just go ahead and do that. Yeah, that would be one. All right, next thing about your major. Worrying about your major. Are there stricter standards for major? Nah, your major really won't matter at all. Again, similar thing to certifications. Like, in some of your later points as well and questions, like, get your idea of what education is, because you work in a school. Get that shit out of your head. Just take it, put it in the ball, and throw it in the trash. Like, when you're thinking about Eikaiwa or ALT, like, it's completely different. Like, both of them is edutainment, you know. It would be kind of what I'd like you to think about it. It would be completely different than anything you kind of thought of. It's just really difficult to explain it. In of course, depending on what school you're working at, you know, the level of the kids, the grade of the kids, the area in Eikaiwa, the area that you teach in, the time of day that you teach in. Like, it really does. Like, my typical day, like, you know, I go from teaching, you know, a housewife who might have lived in the States, you know, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, to a businessman, to a college student, to an elementary school kid, to you know, a returnee, to someone who's job hunting, to someone who just wants to, you know, who's teleworking, who just wants to, like, brush up on their English skill, like, in the course of a day. So like having like a set, having like a hardcore rigid what teaching style is not really what's the best thing for eikaiwa. It's being able, it's customer, I'm basically customer service pretty much, and like I said, turning vanilla into 31 flavors of ice cream is kind of what I do. Like those lessons that I teach are like 40 minutes in length. And some person might want to just talk, I might have to prepare something for someone, like find an article in like 2 minutes and base a whole conversation on that. Deal with the textbook, adapt it, go straight to the textbook. Kids, play kids games, I don't really teach that as many kids now. And on a personal note, I'm kind of not as enthusiastic about teaching kids since I've had my son. Like I just prefer to just play games with my son, if I had the choice, let me say that, kids are still cool. Kids are kids. If I got a lesson, I enjoy it, I do my best. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad you're having fun, but I kind of prefer to be doing this with my son. It's kind of what I think about now. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. I can't help it. So, yeah. So that's that. Again, don't worry about your major in the job hunting process. It literally is your school accredited, and that's about it. That's about it. Are you not a weirdo? Pretty much. Like I'd say that's what they're looking for. Are you not a weirdo? Can you be trained to do a job? And yeah, like do you have a college degree? Are the main things. Pass those, I'd say you're good. You don't want my advice, for the future, if you're going to a eikaiwa interview, don't appeal yourself at all. Just be a yes man or yes woman, yes person. Just like, okay, yes, I'll do it. I'm interested. No, I love Naruto, and oh my gosh, like this is a dream to be here. Like, no. You just remember, like, yeah, like, I'm really happy to be in Japan. I heard about teaching. It's a new adventure. Hey, I've been something I'm really looking forward to do. I hope I can get the job. I like helping people, and I want to help out students. I'm a positive person. I like people. That's kind of all they really want from you. Everything else they're going to teach you, and everything else beyond that, you're going to learn through experience. I explained to, like, I think I'm like the best person to have in a training session, like my company, like when I joined them, like, I was just like totally chill, like, hey, even the trainer people, they were like, oh, okay, you've been doing this for a while. Oh yeah, you were. It's like, okay, you know what you're doing, like whatever. Like, and I was just kind of like, in my mind, I was like, I'm just gonna entertain myself. Of course I picked up a few pointers, but I was like, let me just fucking help out these new people, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and I'm gonna be here all day anyway. So, like, sorry, I'm fiddling around with stuff. Like literally, I was just like, when the trainers would leave, I can actually be honest about stuff, and I'll just tell them, like, look, this shit's like driver's ed. Eikaiwa was like driver's ed. Now I'm pretty sure ALT is like the same thing too. They can tell you how to drive a car, but you really don't know what driving a car is like until you get on the road. And then even when you get on the road, it's completely different than getting on the highway. But you can't learn that in the classroom. You can't learn how to teach eikaiwa, or I would say ALT, in the classroom. You're only really going to learn it once you actually, when you do learn it in the classroom, you know what I mean? When you actually get in there and get your hands dirty, like, that's just the truth, so everything you can imagine, or what you think it's like, what you hear about online and all this other shit, just throw it out the window, to be honest with you. I mean, don't throw it out the window, because it's valuable information. It's probably not as good or as bad as you've heard, but just keep an open mind that what you can imagine is probably going to be completely different than what it is. Funny story. Story time. Story time. I don't know if I told you the first Maybe I have. I think I've told. Oh fuck! I'll tell it again. It's just fucking giving me a headache. Fuck. All right. I just want to hurry up and drink this so I can get to the other one in the fridge. I should have bought a beer just because it's just all sweet. And I don't drink juice like like that. And it's just like, if you can't read, by the way, if you can't read what this is grape sour. It's like completely fruity shit. I can't read the other two kanji, but basically it's just like, completely fruit levels or something like that. I can't she something, I can't reread the other kanji, but yeah, it's basically saying like it's totally fruity grape sour. And yeah, it is. It's just completely artificially fruit grape alcohol shit. Anyway, story time. Okay. People on YouTube are just watching me suffer through this, like, okay. Again, like, I wouldn't choose this flavor. By the way, if you do drink too high when you go out, yeah, I would avoid these sweet ones, like grape and shit like that. Go for the citrus flavor one. Go for the lemon. Go for the. I think I got grapefruit in the fridge. Like, go for the lemons and the grapefruits. Just because they're a little bit more sour, so you don't really taste the alcohol or the artificial flavor as much. Especially for the strong ones, you gotta go citrus with the strong ones, man. I'm just telling you. I think I got tall boy in the fridge. Anyway. If I told you this before, my bad. If not, if you're a new listener, then fucking listen up. All right, so this is the abbreviated version. I think I have told this on here. So like my first training day, my first school, which is Nova, way back in 2004 when I was a bright-eyed 22-year-old guy coming to Japan, not knowing the fucking. And I think my second day of training, they were like, all right, you're gonna teach a class. And so I forgot if I taught half a class or a full class, but excuse me. Sorry about that. But so my training was on, like, I think maybe the third floor, and all the classrooms were on the second floor, and the bell was about to ring. So they're like, okay, come on, you guys, you gotta hurry up. Because remember, being on time in Eikaiwa is like the most important thing. You gotta be there on the bell, like not like 30 seconds after. No. You gotta be there on the bell, in your fucking seat, on the bell. That's the number one rule for Eikaiwa. Because the lessons are so short, the students are paying so much money, literally, they're paying by the minute, right? So every second that you're not there, they're fucking, like, the little little yen sign is ticking, right? So you gotta be there. So it's like the end of the Matrix. Like, when Neo's looking for the room with the phone, and it was like all these booths, and I'm just like, oh shit, where's my booth? And the bell went off, and like I see my booth, but it's like right here. Like the doorway is like right here. I wasn't used to Japan, that part of Japan yet, because I'm 6'2", so I'm just above my eye line is where a lot of doorways, and my old apartment, it was fine. I didn't have to worry about shit. Now, yeah, some archways here. I've got some marks in my head from it. But anyway, so I'm like late, I'm like hurrying. I got a bunch of shit, and I like run straight into the archway. I'm like, boom. Hey, good morning, you guys. And and it was like three of the housewives. They just started cracking up, laughing at me, because like it looked like I gave myself a concussion, but it was a great icebreaker, as I say, and that was my introduction to teaching English in Japan. Don't remember anything else about my first lesson, but there was the ultimate icebreaker. It was the best thing that could have happened to me, and that's how I popped my fucking Eikaiwa cherry. So don't fucking do that, but don't try and do that. Look for archway to, like, haha, Akil said this is cool. Like, but yeah, the point is, like, everything, and I think, ALT versus Eikaiwa, one of my notes is, they're both edutainment, but you are correct in the fact that, Eikaiwas are private schools, and ALTs work with public schools, but take your image of a private school way out of your head, and you kind of won't. I can't explain it to you. you know, how different it is from, like, if I say private school to someone in America, they have a completely different image of what it is. You know, you just can't explain it. Like, you know, it's fuck, like, I can't explain it. It's like being tutored in a McDonald's. Like, you know, that's kind of what it's like. It's like being tutored in a McDonald's. Like, you just can't explain it, right? But you get used to it, you know. There is a grind that goes to it. And you do have to pace yourself, is what I would say, if you do go with eikaiwa, because you can get burnt out. I've seen people get burnt out, like, you know, if you get too high or too low in any lesson. It's like being a fucking professional truck driver. That's what I'm all zen about this shit, you know. It's like being a professional truck driver. If you put all your energy and I mean, of course you got to put energy into it, but if you put all your concentration into one lesson, doing the fucking perfect lesson, the bell rings 40 minutes later and you got to do it all over again. So, you know, it's like a marathon. You have to kind of pace yourself and your energy levels, and there's certain techniques and things like that you can do. I see some people, some younger people, you know, they're guzzling Monster energy drinks. People are guzzling coffee. Some people go way high. Some people go way chill. You know, some people are very calm. I kind of ride the wave of my emotion depending on what I need to get me through a lesson at the time. I'm not going to give away all my secrets on here just because you don't know where this video is going to end up in the future. But you know, there are certain ways to kind of keep your concentration, I hate to say it, keep the appearance of conversation, you know, concentration at sometimes, but also like, if you do go into eikaiwa, the biggest advice I can give you is, and which I tell new teachers who have like the you know, get burnout syndrome after a few weeks, maybe even a few months. After a day, they're like, fuck, I'm exhausted. Like, you know, I've had like 6 lessons, shit. I'm like, I got 10. Like, you know, I know people who've done 12. Like, the one thing I would say about an eikaiwa lesson, how, and just in general, and, you know, Joshua, you might be able to attest to this. You're not pushing the car, you're driving the car. You know, like a lesson, a good English lesson, I would imagine the same thing is for ALT. Well, ALT might be a bit more involved. I don't know. I can't really speak from experience, but I'll just stick with what I know with eikaiwa. Like, a good teacher, you're not pushing the car. Like, you know, a stalled car, you get behind it and you push it with all your energy. That's not how you get the car from point A to point B in eikaiwa. You're behind the wheel, steering the car, steering the conversation. So when it's an opportunity when you can let the car coast, that's what you're gonna do. When you guide the car, that's how you make it go where it needs to go. You hit the pedal when you need to, you hit the brake when you need to, you make a turn when you have to, but you're not using all of your energy to drive the conversation. You know, you set some shit up that as you know, with through experience, again, like on the highway, you understand what works, what doesn't, what's needed, you know, what's not, where silence comes in, where the energy dips. Like, those are kind of, that's what I say, it's kind of edutainment. It's more customer service. Your customer service skills get amazing. Your conversational skills get amazing doing this job. Punctuality goes way up because you have to understand what drives a good conversation. You know, it being to be a good eikaiwa teacher, you know, and that's like appropriate with Japanese people, is appropriate with non-Japanese people as well. Like, you know, I can go into a group conversation and I understand how to spark the conversation, how to keep the conversation alive, how to keep the energy going, when I need to interject myself, how to change the flow of the conversation, you know, all those kind of things, like, you know, add some wit to it. I mean, you know, I got skills. But it is true. Like, that's the mark of if you listen to I'm sure if you come to Japan after the COVID situation, if you listen to someone who is, I'll just say, a eikaiwa teacher for a long time, even if they look like a burnt out fucking weirdo, they'll more than likely be very entertaining to talk to. You know, hopefully I don't look like a burnt out weirdo. I'm hoping so. Well, as I drink my strong 9% fucking crazy ass chew high, I say that. But you know what I'm saying. So yeah. like long story short, Joshua, just throw everything you think you. I can feel you because I did the same thing before I came to Japan. I tried to anticipate. I tried to calculate based on what I read. There's a lot more information online now, than there was like in 2004. Oh, fuck loads more. But even like I've looked at some of the shit online. Like it just does not give you an idea of what it's like to live in Japan and to work in Japan as an English teacher. So just my advice is just throw it out the window. Don't even worry so much about it. Like, of course, some general information is okay, but for right now, don't put too much stock in it. Just focus on finishing school. And, like you kind of mentioned to me, finding some supplementary income. Some things I might, you sent one or two things you're thinking about, some things I might, selling products online, might be something to think about. You selling American products online. That's probably flipping products. Finding niche products that if you have some friends or things like that, you can kind of connect with. Not so much importing into Japan, but maybe importing into America, or exporting into America, for example. Building, you're in IT, building your own website, things like that. Once you get into Japan, finding out what things sell, some things you can sell. Starting up. I don't know what you do. Like, I'm fucking trying to build my business. God damn it. I was listening to like an audiobook today. Like, oh shit, okay, I gotta get back on my grind. Like, oh fuck, I gotta do this. I gotta think about this. So I don't know what to tell you, bruh. I just know like you gotta do something. Like, it'll make your life a lot easier if you do something. The investment route, you see me, the investment route, something I would personally encourage, just a few years older, encourage you to build a business instead of so much relying upon investment. Investment is like the hot thing. Like right now, stocks are the hot thing. Look what happened to Tesla. I'm not blaming Robinhood traders for it, but I'm just saying, a steady stream of income is something that you might want to figure it out somehow. Like, I don't know, just YouTube it, Google it. Like, you got the world is your fucking oyster, right? Okay. Next, fuck, I gotta hurry up. Okay. how long have I been recording for? Because I got oh my gosh, it's almost 30 minutes. This might be like an hour and a half fucking episode, to be honest with you, especially after I crack open this next one. All right, so I'm gonna just power through the rest of these, right? So cost of living in Japan versus the US. Does age matter? No, it fucking doesn't. Like, you can be 40, 50, come here, probably ALT after you hit 40 plus, it might be a little bit tougher for you. Just be, not for as far as work wise, just be stamina wise, but Kaiwa, don't even worry about it. Like, yeah, especially at your age now, don't even worry about that until like you're at least like pushing 40, like, but you'll be in Japan by then, so don't even worry about it. Does it matter? Cost of living plus versus salary. Yeah. I'm not gonna disclaimer here, I'm not gonna be the best judge of this because I've never had a full-time job in America. It's kind of weird, right? Like, I tell my students that, and it's like, yeah, like I kind of have to guess on business culture in Japan, in America, just because, like, I worked at fucking the airport. Like, I worked at Hertz in the airport for the summer. I mean, I've been working since I was 12 years old, My dad's been a carpenter. He let me help him out in the summer. So I had a bunch of jobs. I had a bunch of jobs as a teenager and in college too. But I've never had like that full-time office job as an adult. Like, never in America. Never done it. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, so, cost of living and living on your own in America is something I've never really experienced. Like, I lived in a fucking dorm. I lived with my parents. And Yeah, I didn't even live off campus my whole time in university, just because, like, you know, it was just a lot more financially viable for me to live like on campus the whole time. And, you know, I saved a bunch of money doing it that way. And I was broke as shit. So, and then sometimes I work like 1 and 2 jobs. So, you know, it is what it is. But so, you know, cost of living in America, I can imagine, especially living, you know, sorry, giving your business coming from California. Yeah, I've heard it's kind of crazy out there, you know, as far as cost of living goes, plus taxes and everything. So, but in Japan, like, your salary will definitely be quite significantly lower than if your salary is at or around the number you gave me. But like, your cost of living is lower. You don't have a car, like, you know, you're not paying the amount of taxes and things that you're gonna pay in the States. You know, you live a much more minimalist lifestyle in Japan. Everything is so much more expensive, so you're gonna spend a lot, like, when you first get here, just because you don't really know how to survive, you know. But once you figure out how to survive in Japan, if you have any degree of financial responsibility, like, you'll be all right. Like, it's the people who are just like, I'm here, I want to fucking see everything from day one, and they just don't. They just think they're back in their fucking dorm room, and, like, it's, you know, those are the people who get fucked, right? But if you're at your age, you're an adult. You understand what individual responsibility is. You'll be fine. Like, but just your standard of living compared to what it is in America, just because there's so much more. I watch documentaries with, you know, my wife, my mother-in-law, and we just like, what the fuck is America on? Like, cause I'm, you know, naturally, I just don't have a lot of the, what's the word? Fluff. A lot of the fluff that American lifestyle has. Like, you know, for better or for worse, like, you know, you live a much more Spartan lifestyle in Japan. What you eat, what you do for entertainment, what your living standards are like, you know. And when I go back to America, I'm like, y'all got all this shit, y'all ain't even doing nothing with this. What the fuck are y'all doing? Like, it's kind of weird, like, you know. But again, like, I spent my whole adult life in Japan, so naturally my life priorities are quite different than it is in America. Like, I was looking at YouTube the other day. I was looking at YouTube the other day, and I have to, like, smack myself sometimes, because, like, I'm looking at, like, used car videos, like the best used cars under, you know, the best luxury used cars under $10,000 and stuff. And I'm like, oh damn, look at that, you know, 2008 Lexus. But then I have to be like, wait a second, 2008, fuck, that's a long ass time ago. But in my mind, you know, it's like a dope ass car, because I don't need a car, you know. I mean, where I'm at, you know, I drive, we have a family car. But, like, for example, living in central Tokyo, you don't need a car. And Japanese used cars are not, you know, having a car in the Tokyo area is kind of a status symbol. But if you live, like, in a small town or something like that, you can get a really fucking good used car for really fucking cheap. And it's really reliable. It's not like America, where, like, a $2,000 used car, a $2,000 used car, you gotta be like, oh shit, is this motherfucker gonna start as soon as I pull off the lot? Look, like, a $2,000 used car in Japan is gonna be really, 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 really reliable. Like, you have no idea, right? So, like, it's just different, you know. So yeah, like, you're I would say, you know, salary. And but also, that's why I recommend you supplement your income. If you can supplement your income, excuse me, I'm not gonna get into, you know, how much you make as an ALT and things, or in Ekai, with stuff like that, or with private lessons or whatever. You can just Google that. You can just research that on your own. But if you think about that, if you can, you know, double your monthly income, or, you know, supplement half of your monthly income with something you do online, and also understand how taxes and things, because, you know, me having my own company business, understanding how taxes work here, taxes work in the States, you know, being able to work those kind of two things, it can get kind of interesting in a good way, right? So, yeah, but the important thing is to just have that kind of cash flow coming in for you. Would ease the load of and a lot of the stress of moving to a new place. Again, not really so much relying on savings and things like that. Your current teaching. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my bullet points. I'll just read it. I'll just be straight up with you. My bullet point says your current teaching experience means nothing. ... Nothing. Okay. And what I mean by that is like it's not translatable to Japan at all. Like I said, you got a degree. Like don't try and make it fancy. Like don't try and put extra sprinkles on it. Just you want to come to Japan. You got a degree. That's about it. Like that's what you're gonna need. Like if they need you, they'll take you. If it's feast or famine here, if they need you, they'll be like, get your ass over here. If they don't need you, hey, find someone who does. Like, So as always, Joshua, let me know what you think. If you want to send me a follow up, no problem at all. And we'll get to it. Okay. Rod, you a while ago you sent me a really good article. I skimmed through it, I'm not gonna lie, about economics and Abenomics. The one thing I'm gonna add to that, I'm gonna just leave it a link in the description for the listeners. Go ahead, please take a look at that. The one thing I'll say is, yes, the Japanese companies are quite risk averse, and as you know, I'm not gonna, Jesus, I can get into macroeconomic shit. I'm just not gonna touch that so much, but I'm trying to think how deep. Because of central banking policy, see, I'm getting all deep into shit, but because of central banking policy, the not only quantitative easing, but just like low interest, the low interest rate world we live in, banks and corporations closer to the central banks are very much, able to get lines of credit, are kind of flush with cash, especially Japanese companies who are cash flow positive. Now, because Japanese society, not only companies are very much risk averse, a lot more than Western countries, they're not really going to, and they haven't been willing to spend some of that cash. Like what I have been hearing and seeing is some of that cash has been, I don't know if it was in that article, being used for M&A, but M&A that's kind of like more surefire bet kind of M&A, like betting on startups or things like that is something that Japanese companies really aren't into. But being more willing to go into like developing countries, third world countries and things like that, industries outside of Japan, because the Japanese economy is going to need to grow somewhere. It's again losing traction to the rest of the world. It's just a thing. So countries are more willing to go outside the borders of Japan out of necessity, especially larger organizations who are flush with cash. That's, I'd say, where that cash glut is going to end up somewhere, somehow. I don't know how, I don't know where, but companies are kind of have a rainy day fund of money that they kind of like just stockpiled, and that's just the way it is in Japan. It's kind of fucking crazy. So definitely read that article from Rod. It is quite interesting. Now I gotta get to the meat. Because I still haven't even got to. I got so much shit to fucking talk about. Oh my gosh, where are we? Like 45 minutes probably. Okay, yeah. I gotta pound through some of these. All right. Okay. How am I gonna do this? All right. Yeah. Okay. So Rod also had a question. I forgot it was another podcast or a TV show or something, but Rod had a question about different types of hostess bars, right? That he heard from some other content somewhere online. And thank you again for we were going back and forth, backtracking and re-listening to it and finding the list of I think 9 of the 10 places that the person talked about. These are not hostess bars, right? Like there are very much different. I don't know firsthand from all this shit, but from my impression, from what I hear, from what I know about living here, I'll give you the best of my ability breakdown of the 9 different places that you heard about. So first one is a girls bar. A girls bar in a hostess bar. Number two is a hostess bar. I'm not so much sure about the difference between a girls bar and a hostess bar. My image, because I've never been to a girls bar, my image of what a girls bar is, though, is just like a place with girls who are bartenders. Pretty much that's what it is. Like, it's like, imagine Coyote Ugly. They actually had a Coyote Ugly like franchise in. If you don't know what Coyote Ugly is, I feel so fucking old. Please, I hope you know what Coyote Ugly is. I hope you're not just Googling this shit right now. Okay. Oh fuck. Okay. But anyway, back to Coyote Ugly. So Coyote Ugly is kind of like the image of what terrible movie, by the way. Of course I watched it, but it was a terrible movie. Coyote Ugly Bar, they actually did have one in Tokyo, a franchise. Of course it closed down because of COVID. But for me, that's a girls bar, right? Not so much the dancing on bars and all that shit, but just the fact that the bartenders are women. You know, they're a little bit sassy, maybe, I don't know. Like, you know, I've seen different banners for different ones. I guess they have different themes or whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm not stepping foot into that, but you know, of course, you're paying for their sassiness. I don't fucking know what that's all about, but you're definitely gonna be overpaying for drinks, you know, just to have like a bartender. But the point is, she's behind the bar, she's your bartender, and she's serving you drinks, right? A hostess bar, we've talked about before, is where you're actually next to the hostess. I'm getting totally sidetracked. This is gonna be such a long episode. Oh my gosh. Okay. By the way, speaking of hostess bars, I was like, one of my hobbies now has become late night before I go to bed. I've started like going down the rabbit hole of Netflix Japan's adult-oriented movies. This is fucking hilarious, man. Like, some of this shit is like so crazy. I wanted to tell you guys, it was so crazy. I watched this movie, like, I can't even remember. It was like Yoake no Machi or some shit like that. Yoake no Machi, I think it was the name of it. Some shit, some crazy ass movie from the 90s. And it just reminded me, it was like, it turned into like a horror movie at the end, because it was like this dude who was like cheating on his wife, and he found this like his crazy coworker who, you know, she was all melodramatic and stuff like that. And sorry, my eyes are a little itchy if you go on YouTube, sorry about this. But like for me, like, the ending of the movie was so, it was a horror movie, right? Because but I was watching this over the course of a few nights. Like, no, I wasn't watching it. I remember I watched it one night, but I was fast forwarding through it because it was just like so crazy, so melodramatic. It was driving me crazy. And so I'm fast forwarding through it, and also I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to see, are there any boobs in this? There weren't any boobs in it. That's why I was fast forwarding it, right? Such an asshole. The 9% got me talking, y'all. Okay. All right. Anyway. So, like, I remember watching this thing, and I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like, this guy's cheating on his wife, but he's having a blast. Like, he's just he's going to golf with this chick, and he's hanging out with her. He's having fun. He's laughing, and he's so happy. You know, and he's got his wife at home and everything, you know, but you know, he spends the night out. His wife is calling him, but it's weird. Some weird murder mystery thing happened with it. It was just weird. Like, I don't know. But anyway, the point is, like, yeah, I'm watching it, and it was kind of perplexing to me that how this guy seems so happy-go-lucky when he's spending so much time with his mistress, and his wife is at home smiling and laughing. And the last scene of the movie, like the end of the movie, it was like, oh, this is a horror movie, because it turned weird really quickly. Like, I'll just spoil it. If you find the movie, whatever, don't even bother watching it. But like, I don't know why, because I was passing forward through it. But like, he was given, and this is, but by the way, a microcosm of, from what I heard and seen, marriages that go bad in Japan. Like, you know, Western women, she'll yell at you, she'll cut you, she'll throw you, she'll along. Japanese woman ain't gonna do shit, but she will make your life live in hell for the rest of your life. This is the power of Japanese women, right? So, like, this dude, I guess he was giving his wife like these Santa dolls or something. I don't know. But like, so he gave his wife a little Santa doll or something. And before, you saw his hand crushing them. And then he like opens a drawer and he like, you know, he's frozen with fear because he sees like all of the Santa dolls he was giving his wife. She was like breaking them and throwing them in the drawer, basically. The whole movie, you know. And so he basically, his mistress, he was gonna divorce his wife, talk to his wife and tell her that he wants to leave her. But so he's like, I gotta talk to you tomorrow or something like that. And then the night before he talked to her, he opened up and saw the drawer and he was freaking out. And so the next morning, you know, I guess he realized like she knew that he was cheating. You know, they showed her like, wah, you know, but she's so nice and smiling, completely supportive Japanese wife. And like the next morning, you know, he goes to work and he, you know, she was like, you know, so there was something you wanted to talk to me about, right? And he was like, oh yeah, that's over. You know, don't even worry about it. So he's like, oh, you know, he's all fucked up because his mistress left him or something. I forgot. I don't even know why his mistress was gone, but whatever. And you know, he was like, hold on, make sure this is still recording. Okay, cool. Like, and so, you know, his mistress is gone somewhere for some reason. I don't fucking care why. But like, he was like, oh, don't worry about it. That's over, right? And then she's smiling. She's like, oh, it's not over. It's not gonna be over for the rest of our lives. And she's just like smiling at him, and he's just like, he's like, oh, and he's like, this is the start of my nightmare in Japanese. And she's like, okay, have a nice day at work. And then he like walks off, and then he goes to like Shimbashi, and he's just like looking around all lost, like, oh fuck. But like from what I hear, that's what happens. Like, you know, how these fucking marriages fuck up. Like the salaryman husband fucks around a little bit, and then like, you know, the wife knows because the women's intuition or somehow he's a fucking idiot, and then she just fucking cuts him off, and you're just a bank to me. Like, you know, just give me your fucking cash. I don't know if I've told this story. Okay, I'll tell the story. A long time ago, I had an interesting student who, because I don't know if she listens to this someday, but you were interesting. And she was telling me, I won't tell like what he does or anything like that, but she was telling me that she used to come in and tell me the story. This is another reason why you gotta be prepared for anything if you're a Kaiwa teacher. She was telling me the story about her husband, and like, man, like, long story short, like, this lady's husband, she knew he was cheating on her. Right? He had a really, really good job, right? A really good job. He wasn't like a company president or anything, but he had a really good job. I won't say what, just because, right? So he had a really good job, and in the medical field, I'll say that, right? I don't really know exactly what in the medical field, I forgot, but he's in the medical field, but he had a really good job. So he, she found out he was cheating on her, right? And, you know, he had a mistress. And she'd tell me, like, you know, I mean, hopefully she, you know, like, I try to just open up to everyone. I'm like, look, I'm not going to judge you. Whatever you do, I've heard people tell me wild shit, you know, and I don't judge. I'm like, I'm here to listen to you. Whatever you want to tell me is cool. I wasn't expecting what she told me. She was like, in my life, he's the... it's not the 9%, but I'm just like, all right, whatever, fuck it. This is just, I'm letting you know some of the shit you might hear if you become an Eikaiwa teacher. So she was like, in my life, he was the only guy that never made me wet. And I had to be like, okay. Like, you know, because my job is to listen. My job is not to react. So, you know, I had to, yeah, that's tough. Crazy, right? Okay, I just remember that. Anyway, completely sidetracked from Rod's topic, but anyway, so long story short, like, she found out he was cheating, and he, like, his mistress, something like that. Somehow his mistress started extorting the dude, and then like the wife found out, so she had to confront the mistress and was like, no, you're not. And she not even confront the mistress, because she, you know, Japanese woman more than likely is not going to directly confront the mistress. So she, like, basically the dude was caught between his mistress and his wife. Both of them knew, and the mistress was trying to extort money from the dude. The wife was pissed off about the mistress trying to extort money from the dude and trying to tell him to cut her off, and, you know, thinking about going to the police, and he's just trying to work. And then she was like, yeah, we got the situation sorted out, but, you know, he's done with me. We have I think they have a kid, I forgot. But he, you know, he's like, yeah, I just need him for money now. And that's it. He's just an ATM. Like, I was like, you know, like, she's not gonna like verbally attack him or anything like that. She'll like, hey, okay, have a nice day, just like the lady in the movie. But he's not fucking her anymore for the rest of his life. He's not getting no pussy. He's on, sorry, I'm being kind of real. You know, the strong I'm blaming it on the strong 9%. Okay, but you know, seriously, he's not getting any love, probably for the rest of his life, and, you know, he's probably gonna be too scared to cheat on her from now on, and so, like, he just gotta, like, live a miserable life, just like the dude in the movie. And that's just kind of what it is. I forgot why I was talking about this, why I connected with Rod's list, but whatever. Okay, let's get back to the list. So number 3 on the list that was given was Kabakura. And from my understanding of Kabakura is a more casual form of a hostess bar. Kabakura and hostess bars are pretty much similar in my opinion. It's just that, like, Kabakura is just more of like a casual type of hostess bar. And there's even a traditional type called club, which I don't think is on here. A club basically is a hostess bar where they wear kimonos. So if you have an older Japanese person telling you they want to go to a club, take you to a club, more than likely it's a hostess bar where the hostesses are dressed more traditionally. It's basically a really dry hostess bar. A regular hostess bar, I want to say, I forgot that it's like a small nuanced difference between a hostess bar and a Kabakura. I think a Kabakura is just more casual, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, but those are, I think, on this list, the only 2 that are similar. The other ones are very, very different. Oppai bar. Oppai means breast. Sorry, ladies, just letting you know. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna go into detail about Oppai bars, but I did, just going down the Oppai bar rabbit hole on YouTube, I found this guy, Jake Nalton. Actually, I was just flipping through. He's not that active on YouTube, but I like some of his content and some of how he talks about his life in Japan. Very open, honest guy. He has an old video where he talks about Oppai bars, you know, his experience at Oppai bar, a drunk night Oppai bar situation. So I would recommend you know, just go ahead and watch the video if you want to know what goes down, what's going on there. He has kind of a funny story from him. So just check that out for more information on that. Next will be number 5, sex Kabakura bar. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, I would guess it might be. I guess it might mean. I don't think that's an official category. I think it just is a Kabakura where you can actually pay extra money to sleep with the hostesses. But for me, that would be a really low level hostess bar. Any hostess bar where you can actually go in and be like, I want to sleep with you, is kind of a low level one, which reminds me of another adult oriented Netflix Japan movie I finished up last night called Judas. I don't know. I'm not gonna research if it's in English, but fucking crazy ass movie, like weird ass ending. It's just, I'm just gonna spoil everything. It was just weird as fuck. Like this, I'm gonna call her chick. Like this chick who just wants to be the #1 hostess in Kabukicho, and she has a bunch of drama and everything like that. But you know, she fucks some of her clients, but from my understanding, like going to a hostess bar is not like a brothel. It might look, from Western eyes, it might look like it. I thought the same way when I first walked in there. It looked like it, but you know, you're actually only paying for the conversation. A host, you know, of course there are some guys with money who just like go there, be like, hey, I've heard stories like, I'll give you this much money to fuck me tonight, and that just depends on the hostess. Like, you know, I think the video I shared before, like a while ago, about the #1 hostess, like some shit about hostess in Kabukicho, and she even said, like, you know, it depends on the guy and her mood or whatever, whether she'll fuck him or not. But I'd say that's more of an individual choice. It's not something that happens like automatically. So any Kabakura or hostess bar where it's kind of automatic that you can kind of fuck anybody who's in there would be a pretty low level kind of place. Like, I really wouldn't want to go there. I wouldn't say the standards are too high there. The #6 delivery health service, Deciphering, is kind of I think that's what it's called, Deciphering. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Pretty much it's kind of a complicated name from what I understand. Like, health services meaning like, what's the word? Healthy extraction of juices. If you think about it, that's the health part of it. Healthy stress reliever, healthy pressure relief is kind of what it means, you know. So you know, the delivery part is literally like the woman is delivered to an address, a hotel or address, and delivers some services to relieve some pressure, some stress of the person. And that's kind of the point of that. It's just a pretty much delivery prostitution service. That's all it is, depending on what the person wants. But I've never done that, but it's pretty common here in Japan. The legal loophole of it, I believe, is from, I forgot where I heard about it or read about it, something, is that it's maybe from what I understand, the loophole is that technically the person that goes is there to deliver health services, but in the course of their whatever appointment, if their chemistry becomes so great that they accidentally have sex, hey, it happens. Some shit like, I don't know, like, I'm not digging too deep into that. A pink salon, I think a pink salon in Delhi delivery health are kind of like similar. If you really think, like sex kabakura, delivery health, and a pink salon are kind of in this, I put them in the same category, right? There's just like like Pizza Hut or Domino's. Like, are you gonna order delivery, or are you gonna like eat in, or are you gonna get takeout? Like, it's kind of weird what it's all pizza, right? Like, you know, the sex Kabakura Bar for my image would be takeout. The delivery health is delivery, and the pink salon, I believe, would be eat in. Oh gosh, not literally, okay. But I think, and maybe even the soap land as well. Well, no. Okay, I'll save soap. Fashion health service, I don't really know what that means at all. I can't say on, but health means there's some type of, you know, pressure release going on. I would assume that. A soap land and a pink salon, I'm guessing, would be similar. Again, pink salon, I'm guessing, is full service, if you will. But soap land, from the internet, is, you know, soap related massage that can turn into other services from what I understand, but I think that's just another form of pink salon, if you will. It just deals with water and soap, where you taking a bath, getting soaped up. It's not dry humping because there's soap and lubricants involved, from what I understand. I don't know, like I can't really say, but you know, but yeah, that's about that. So the guy from the Oppai bar is oh gosh, oh gosh. I have a feeling this episode's gonna give me, I don't know, whatever. It's fine. I'll be all good. I'll be all right. I'm a big boy. You know, this is Japan. It's true. Like, I mean, I ain't saying nothing that's not out in the open. So whatever. All right. Anyway, one thing I want to talk about. I want to move on. How much that? Okay. Now before that guy hour. Jesus Christ. Okay. Sorry. Let me grab another. Let me finish this thing off. Yeah, Jesus, it's fucking 12:30 already. All right, let me grab the big Drew High, and then I'll talk on speak on the other topics. So hold on one second. Okay, all right, let me crack this one open. Hold on, let me show the audience again. This is, yeah, I did get a lemon. I got a lemon Drew High. The regular ones are 5% alcohol. Hold on, let me crack it open. And as I went to the refrigerator, excuse me, one thing I realized, like, you probably are not gonna see me drinking Chew High on this podcast ever again, or hear me drinking Chew High on this podcast ever again, just because, like, I'm not enjoying this at all. Yeah, like, I think I've gotten old enough where, like, my Chew High is no longer my drink of choice. Like, I mean, it never really was my drink of choice, but, you know, going out, like, I would say, for me, a Chew High is the drink from the train station to the club is the drink, or after the club, after one spot to the next spot after last train is a Chew High, right? Like, if you're staying out all night, all right, we finished going here, we're gonna go somewhere else, then you drink a Chew High. Well, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so like I was saying, yeah, that's my advice for drinking Chew High. All right, so this might be an hour and a half episode. So, yeah, because these are two topics I gotta hit. Like, these are things I really want to hit, in this episode, just because I want to cut them up. Okay, so one thing, before, I'm gonna save the Deciphering Japan episode 2 for last. But just going down the rabbit hole of the YouTube, I found this guy. I want to say his name correct. Oh yeah, that's right. I think his name is CDawgVA. I think his name. He's actually a really popular YouTuber. He's got like over 1 million subscribers, but apparently this guy is new to Japan. And so he's new to Japan, and he doesn't know shit about Japan or Japanese women or Japanese people at all. But then the next episode, I'm gonna kind of continue with the dating theme, but just his thing was just so interesting to me. I like the guy. Let me say that I like the guy. But he he don't know shit about Japanese women. Okay, he don't know shit about Japanese people. And I mean, that's, which is fine, but. So in the description, there's a link of him being like a host. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you. Being a host, and seeing what that was like. You know, it was a really interesting video for me. But wait, is it the one that I'm thinking of? Hold on. Let me make sure I have the correct one. Before I speak on this. Yeah. So what it is a video by CDawgVA about him being a host for a night, I think like his inability to understand Japanese people, Japanese women, situational awareness in Japan is really something that I think you would get something from, you know, if especially if you haven't really been in an all Japanese type of situation before. The one thing for me, like you know, just his personality, I think is and he said in another video, which I'll talk about. I'm not even gonna get into what he said in another video because it's kind of a really important thing that I want to kind of save. But if you watch his video, for me, the thing that kind of not striking, but I'd like for you to pay attention to is the fact that he hasn't acquired the ability to go along with a situation, even if you don't know what the fuck is going on, which is something, a skill, important skill in Japan. Like, if you notice, he as a host, he kind of interjects his personality, his point of view, his perspective into a lot of things that's going on, out of necessity sometimes, just to kind of get through the situation. You know, just cultural gaps and things like that, but just the way he answers questions, you know, the way he interacts with Japanese women, maybe for a lot of times for his personality, for his lack of experience with women, not being condescending about him at all, but he admitted it in other content. Like, sarcasm is a really important thing I want you to understand. Like, sarcasm, just if you're a sarcastic motherfucker, throw that shit out the window in Japan. Throw that shit out the window with Japanese women. Like, especially Japanese women. This is advice for guys. Don't worry, ladies, I got something else for you in the next episode. But sarcasm doesn't work here with most people at all. Like, I'm lucky, that's why I married my wife. She understands sarcasm. You know, she's sarcastic as fuck. Like, she gives me shit all the time. You know, we give each other shit all the time. Like, but your average Japanese person, especially if there's a language difference, is not going to understand sarcasm. And it's definitely not going to understand your sarcastic jokes. And you can kind of see the cringeworthy moments with him as he kind of has to go through those while his internal dialogue. Also, his answering questions in a way that makes himself feel comfortable, not so much the other people, caters to other people. In Western culture, we can do that. In Japan, that doesn't really go over so well. I laughed at the hosts, you know, because it's kind of clear that they were trying to. In the beginning, the host was kind of like, remember, if you listen to previous episodes, you heard me kind of talk about how Japanese people might appear, some Japanese dudes might appear, if you're going out with them, might appear to be your friend, but really what they're doing in the back way is trying to make themselves feel, boost their stock. He kind of, the host that he was with, the kind of bigger guy, did that, you know, exact same thing. Like, oh, he's a really famous YouTuber. Like, I'm showing him everything I'm doing. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit is what happens. If you don't really understand Japanese, those are kind of the results that you get. On the surface, like, yeah, he was a guest in that type of environment, but I would imagine because he's a, you know, pretty successful YouTuber, and being a YouTuber is a pretty new thing in Japan, and the amount of like followers that he has or subscribers that he has, it was kind of like a little bit cringeworthy in the end when they were kind of like offering different like expensive fucking alcohols and things like that. Like, he would have gotten fleeced pretty much if he didn't get the fuck out of there. And I'm pretty sure like the Japanese people behind him, like his handlers, had a lot of explaining and shit to do to cover up for one of the big issues that might have popped up there. So him not knowing what the fuck was going on. I'm not saying it was dangerous for him, but like, I'm sure there was a lot of like negotiating, apologizing, and explaining going on between Japanese people after he was gone and not knowing what the fuck was going on. But, you know, especially being with hosts, he's an outsider, he was a guest, it was fine. But I wouldn't be too, you know, I've been in Japan long enough where I wouldn't be comfortable in that type of situation, just because I know what those people are all about. And I'm not pigeonholing them, but, you know, they're just about money. Like, that's what it is. Like, there's a money-related world. If they smell money, they're like sharks. They're gonna fucking go for it. So you can kind of get a few glimpses of that. But the main thing, like in that type of situation, like you know, sorry, Yoru no Sekai, or you know, world of the night, if you will, after hours type shit, you can kind of see how things kind of develop. So especially with a dude like that, and if you are that type of dude, take some notes about what not to do. Keep your mouth shut, nod, smile, don't be fucking sarcastic, or a few things, if you especially like related to the list that Rod provided, I'll probably leave the list up in the description. There's no article related to it, but these, if you do go to these type of places, don't be sarcastic, okay? Like, just shut the fuck up. All right. So again, those two things, the Oppai Bar one, and the host dude, CDawgVA, his YouTube channel, definitely check those out. Jake Nalton, and also CDawgVA. I really want to know why you chose that name, but hey, it's your world. You got 1 million subscribers. I got like less than 30, so it's all good. All right, last thing. Let's get into Deciphering Japan, right? Back into Deciphering Japan. So as you know, like I'm kind of like, if you update on my channel, I'm kind of layering my review with the official playlist, and as I go, I'm gonna take out a section of this and put it in there. So I'm gonna give you my official episode 2 review right now. Okay, this is my serious face, even though I am drinking, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, this a few points about that I'd like, again, if you haven't watched it, please stop, watch it first, and then come back and listen to this. A few things that are interesting that I picked up on watching this are, first, why Japan is so unproductive, but why Japan works so hard. It's kind of an interesting thing that I like, that hopefully you picked up on. Like, in the West, individuality is kind of the thing, individual responsibility, the results. The West is a much more results-oriented kind of society, but Japan is more of a process-oriented society, a group-oriented society, which means that in a company, in a business, in an organization, it's not so much like the results you get, is how you get to those results that are more important. Up to now, take for example, the news of the day here is SoftBank. SoftBank was the quote-unquote NASDAQ whale. I was talking to someone deep into the financial world, and he was explaining to me, a student of mine a few days ago, he was explaining to me, because basically it was revealed that SoftBank, I think, placed some bets, and they, was it 40 billion or 4 billion? I forgot, it was 40 or 40 billion. I forgot which one, but they made a shitload of money on some riskier bets, in the NASDAQ market. And what he was telling me was basically, I was like, well, they made a bunch of money, why did the stock price go down? And it was basically saying like, well, that's not traditional market moves here, and so it's kind of a turnoff for Japanese investors, because that's not how normal traditional companies function. It's a bit too aggressive for the Japanese taste, so it's not so much that they made a shitload of money, it's how they made the money that really rubbed Japanese investors the wrong way. And whether it be temporarily, they came out with some other news a few days later, but the price dropped, significantly because of that. So, the unproductive nature of Japanese companies and societies is pretty much, as long as there's no major, for me, again, as long as there's no major shocks to society as a whole, things are gonna pretty much remain the same. It's kind of how I think of things here, right? Oh yeah, the expensive fruit fucking thing, right? Sorry, I gotta fucking stretch my shoulder. I've got a fucking frozen shoulder. I gotta keep stretched out. The expensive fruit and the person growing the fruit is kind of like a big thing. I've never seen this fucking fruit. Like, I don't know where this shit is. It's in Ginza somewhere, some shop. I don't know where the fuck it is. It's probably a tourist attraction or something, but I very much know that there are shops that sell high quality, very expensive fruit. in the square watermelons that I'm sure you've heard about. I've heard about before. I came to Japan that cost $100. I thought everyone in Japan ate, but nobody eats that shit. Those are kind of corporate related gifts. I've never seen the shops. I don't know where the fuck to buy the shit. I would have to Google it, And I used to, before COVID, I used to go to Ginza a lot, but I just don't know where to find it. So, but those kind of high class expensive gifts are kind of common in Japan. But I'd say that's like another characteristic of Japan. Like, you gotta know where the shit is to know where the shit is, So, or you can just like read about it and become some kind of tourist attraction. You take pictures in front of like an expensive ass fucking cantaloupe. I don't know, like but I don't know what the fuck people do, but it is kind of those two extremes. So, that's not an everyday thing. Don't be misled by that at all. People are not running around Japan buying fucking $300 cantaloupes at all. Precision. I really like how the host of the show explained precision as it relates to Japanese businesses and things like that, because it is very much true. Like, precision and commitment to what you're doing is a very important thing. And yeah, my bad. Sorry for the interruptions, but it's late. I gotta check on family stuff and stuff like that. But anyway, I completely lost my train of thought. Precision. Yeah, but I really like her explanation of precision in Japan and how meticulous Japanese people are. Like I say, Japanese people are kind of mildly obsessive compulsive about things, and you can kind of see it in the detail that she really puts into her melon, and that's something I would say that a lot of people who are specialists really have, and that's what turns into like a lot of the creativity and the beauty in the depth of a lot of like artistry, food, a lot of the culture that really makes Japan. So I really like the way she highlighted it. Also, if you watch how she reacts to how the melon growing lady reacts to the host eating things, like showing your pleasure for the effort that someone put in to something is very important. You can't just eat like, oh, it's good. Like, you need to kind of a little bit overreact. It's kind of part of Japanese manners, and the person also a bit overreacts to something. And like, she knows her melons are the fucking best, but oh, I'm so happy that you fucking love my shit. Like, it's kind of like Japanese manners. So it's something I'd like for you to pick up on. Reading something. Karoshi is something that happens in Japan, but that fucking class, like the topic is a serious topic, and I think the crazy class, is that was kind of tough for me to watch, because I'd never seen no shit like that before in my life. Like, and just the guy hosting it, whatever, like, that's just not a normal thing that I've seen or I'm aware of at all here in Japan. But the guy who worked for the supermarket company, I think that is more valuable information for you. It might be something that might be completely like out of the box thinking for you, but again, the duty is kind of a really strong motivator here in Japan. The sense of the obligation, to your job, and something that the guy said where, if he did quit or lose his job, he wouldn't really know his place in Japanese society, is a really, really, really strong motivator for Japanese people, for many Japanese people. So even though it might not be something you could understand, that someone's willing to go that far for a job that they might not even like, might not pay them that much, just understanding that cultural obligation is something that I think is definitely important, and that I'd like for you to understand. Again, the class was a bit weird for me. Not so much picking it, but it does show some of the situations that happen in Japan, but that type of class is not something that's normal at all. The same thing, the crying class, that's not something that's normal at all. Job hunting for students. I had talked to a student today who's in the job hunting process, and she's totally freaking out about it. Yeah, it is what it is. Like, balancing group harmony with expressing yourself in Japan is a constant balance that people have to deal with. Even me and my son, I was explaining to my wife today, like, our job as parents, especially moving forward in the future of Japan, is teaching him how to be in the group but not of the group, and that class is kind of really showing that dynamic where a lot of those young people were taught up to now that they should be of the group, but the dynamics in Japan over the last, like, let's say 10 years have changed quite a bit, where showing your opinion and being striking out on your own is kind of important, but not too much yet. So it is kind of one of those things that's gonna I'm very much watching intently how it's gonna play out, and I have an idea how it might play out. You've heard me talk about it before, the dinosaurs, the growing pains. So I don't know, I'm just monitoring it, especially with my son. Like, for now it's not such a big deal, but when he hits his teens or 15, something like that, I'm gonna really have to kind of be on it and really kind of coach him in the direction, not that I want him to go into, but the direction that will prepare him to thrive in the Japan of 2040, let's say. Like, that's my goal. It's not like Japan today, what's the best look? It's like, okay, 2040, when you're like on your own, when it's your time, how can you have the skills to thrive in that type of environment, whatever it's going to be. So the hippie street musician, more like, I don't really have too much to say about him. This episode was not too controversial for me. I just had some questions about how he makes his living. Like, I'm guessing he might be on unemployment, just because, maybe even living with his parents. I'm not sure. Like, just because, like, he doesn't make that much money as a street performer, unless he has some savings to move back with his parents. I'm not quite sure how his situation works, but if the dude's happy, I'm happy. Do your thing, dude. Like, I'm not, knocking you at all, but, just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna quit and play my fucking, like, whatever that thing was, like, in the street. Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, it kind of left me with several questions about, I'd like a bit more in his background situation. But of course, that's not something that can be addressed in that limited time frame. And it does make for a good story for someone who's like bucking mainstream culture and doing what makes them, prioritizing their health and their happiness, which of course I can't knock. But I would say in Japan at this current moment in time is something that might not be a viable option for a lot of people. So I'm just a bit curious about a bit more of his situation. Not judging him, but just want to know how that works. That's all. That's my 2 cents about it. But again, for me, episode 2 was a bit more straightforward. Besides, the only thing I had like a little bit of like cringe was the crazy class, like, for work-related stress. So that's about it. I'm gonna stop there. I'm not gonna lie, I drink like a little bit of this Chu-Hi. I'm not drinking the rest of this motherfucker at all. Had to take a sip of it, but yeah, I'm pouring this out. Like, I should just got beer. So probably not gonna be any more Chu-His on this podcast, like, at all. Just letting you know, because it's just, like, it's not like a crazy Chu-Hi time for me. So all right, we'll wrap up the podcast there. This might even be one of the, if not the longest. Yeah, it's an hour and a half. Fuck, episode, almost an hour and a half. I gotta cut out a few breaks, but lots of information. Next episode is I'm looking forward to. We're gonna go deeper into dating, relationships, shit like that. I got a few links I held back from, like, going down the rabbit hole that I'm really looking forward to breaking down and talking about with you guys. So, all right, we'll wrap things up there. If you guys have any questions, again, Rod, Joshua, anybody else out there, questionsforakil@gmail.com, and I will holler at you next time. Throwing up deuces at you. Peace.